Hello everyone, I'm your hostess with the mostest, 8-Second Gaming. In today's video, we're going to be talking about one of the biggest things that holds people back constantly and keeps them hard stuck, and that is of course, panicking in fights. A lot of people panic way too easily, and it causes them to lose a lot of fights, and that's causing them to stay hard stuck. But it's actually quite simple once you actually start to break it down to fix this, so that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be taking a look at one of my own personal games, and I'm going to walk you guys through how to not panic and how to more efficiently close out games. But before we jump into that, if you guys find this video useful at any point, please hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help my channel more than you guys even think, so it really does mean a lot to me, and thank you in advance. But with that covered, let's actually hop into things. And the first thing that you guys have to understand when it comes to not panicking is just assessing your situation. Now, from the look of this screenshot, you have to understand who your biggest threat is and who's the biggest threat to them. Now, in this specific situation, thankfully, nobody's really in this gazebo area here. Because nobody's over here, we can kind of cross that off in our minds mentally. If somebody does rotate in, then we're gonna have to reassess that. But that's something that comes up when that does happen. In this specific situation, right here, nobody's here, so I don't have to worry about it. However, on this side of the door, on the back of the down beast, there is a team, and as you can see, there's Caustic Barrel right here, and these guys do have a pretty good angle on us this way. So they are our biggest threats, and vice versa, we are actually their biggest threat because we have a pretty solid spot to play, and nobody over here is pressuring us. If people over here were pressuring us, then this team would not feel as threatened by us because we're not going to have as much things to do. But because nobody's pressuring us, we can actually start to look at them and start to pressure them. So because they're our biggest threats, we're their biggest threats, they're going to be looking at us and we need to be looking at them. That is the first thing that you need to do whenever you get into a situation like this. So as you can see, playing Caustic, I just start to throw barrels around the area as much as I can. Now, I don't use all of my barrels all the time. You can see that I still have 2 in here, and I typically try to keep at least 1 in reserve because if something goes wrong and I need a barrel down, I don't want to have to wait for it. But as soon as I'm putting these barrels down, you can see that there is a Caustic on their team that starts to look at me, and I don't want to let him look for free, so I want to do as much damage as I possibly can. Not only does it say, hey, we're looking over here, but it also takes away some of their resources because now that Caustic has to go and heal, and if they don't have a ton of heals to begin with, then he's going to be less likely to want to peek in the future. And if you can keep him from peeking, we can do more stuff for free. So that's something you guys always have to keep in mind. If you can take resources away from a team, you definitely should be doing that. And in return, I actually didn't take any damage. I'm not sure if my lifeline got hit by the Caustic or what she got hit by, but unfortunately she did take a little bit of extra damage. Though thankfully she is a lifeline, so she can use her dock drone to heal and not have to worry about wasting syringes or medkits, so it's a little bit better. Now, as soon as we get that Caustic to stop peeking, you can see that I'm once again back to setting up barrels. Now, I was a little caught off guard here because I had no idea what downed my lifeline, so you could see that I was a little hesitant to peek there because I didn't know what was going on. Now, there was a Loba that was playing over here, which is very aggressive, but again, you have to understand that we are this team's biggest threat. So as soon as the zone is closing, I'm going to be real honest with you guys. I thought that we were in here. From the way that it looked on the minimap, it looked like we had the tiniest little edge inside this building, and we kind of do, but not to the point where I thought we did. I should have done a little bit more scouting, but I was more worried about setting up barrels and shooting the team off of us. And this is where people start to panic because their plan starts to not go the way that they thought it was going to go. Your lifeline's knocked, your Ash is really hurt, you're in zone starting to take damage, and the spot that you thought was playable is no longer playable. So now the wheel starts spinning out of control and you don't know what to do. But just take a deep breath and start to weigh your options. Because we didn't have anybody shooting at us from the gazebo, I know that that spot is relatively playable. So because I can't play in here, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to walk outside. And this Sparrow gets a little bit aggressive, so I have to come here and play with my Ash. Now, they don't really have the best angles to swing here with the Caustic gas. So because they don't have the best angles to swing, this just allows me to play a little bit more aggressive in a sense, but also not aggressive because I can peek, but also just stay behind this wall. And if they want to continue to swing, they're going to have to swing into caustic gas. If they want to walk here, they're walking into this cloud of caustic gas here. And if they want to swing over here, they're going to get hit by this caustic barrel. And if they're shooting the caustic barrels, that just means that I can shoot them instead. So they're either going to have to focus the barrel and let me shoot them, or focus me and let the barrel tick them, which are both bad options for them. So you can see as soon as this sparrow starts to peek here, he starts to take a lot of damage. And that's not good for him, because as soon as he's like starting to do this, he starts to panic. And that is me flipping the panicking onto someone else. You can see he had no idea what to do. He didn't know what was going on. He started to get damaged by the caustic gas. I wasn't taking as much damage as he thought I was going to. He didn't know what to do. So he just shot himself into the air and allowed me to get free shots on him. Now, this is where a lot of people still would be panicking because their health is not full and there's another person swinging. But look, he's taking damage from the caustic gas. There's nowhere for these people to swing that is not going to be taking them damage. Now, because this caustic is playing a little bit more aggressive here, you can see in a second I do slide up to be a little bit more aggro here because my spot is not as good as it used to be. And these guys are just kicking so fast in this gas. I think a lot of people are not respecting how dangerous caustic gas really can be. So in this situation, all I want to do is play aggro here. And if I go down, I go down, but my Ashe had healed. So now she was able to fight as well. So as soon as we're in this situation, you have to be a little bit more aggressive. And thankfully, it does work out for us because people do not respect caustic gas. Even though they had a caustic on their team, they weren't respecting the gas, and that caused them to panic and caused them to lose this fight. So because all I did was take a deep breath, played my barrel, understood what the situation was, understood where we could and couldn't be shot from, this allowed me to then stay calm, stay cool, stay collected, and actually just win this fight for free against people that definitely should have won the fight to begin with. But that's just something that you guys need to be paying attention to in your own games. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something new. Thank you all for watching. Once again, I'm 8 Second Gaming. I'll see you guys in the next one.